And this is like how I do my own research. I'm showing you guys how to do research. Chumash, painted caves, hike. Oh, you guys are going to love this. Oh my gosh, and I've been there. Okay, so first of all, it's caged. Why? Because people who can't think for themselves, want to destroy territory. Kind of like what I was saying about the Garden of Eden. It's the same situation. You have Afghanistan who are trying to get through, like say for example, they're trying to get through this guard. And then you got to have the people of that holy land who are protecting it. They have to be allies with a particular country in order to stop people from destroying what's behind these bars. That's why Jerusalem was acclaimed as the capital of Israel, because that's their belief. Palestine has a whole different motive, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying like theirs is different. Because they're like, you have two bloodlines of Abraham. That's what Palestine and Israel are all about. Two bloodlines of Israel. To Abraham, he was a pimp, but he made a mistake. Eve, she was a pimp too. She made a mistake. They both made the same mistake. I'm mad at Eve and Abraham. Okay, so that cave is guarded, but this is what is behind the cave. And oops. Sorry, Lisa. I didn't mean to do that. Okay, so if I were to look at this and decipher, what the hell? So this is the last markings of the Hopi Indians, and it's in Central California. But it was painted by, these are the Chumash caves because the Chumash were like the security guards of the messages. Okay, and then let's say you have these Ezekiel wheels. I'm going deep today. Deep dive on Sunday. So the Ezekiel wheel, and then you have Jacob's ladder. But they didn't know that because they didn't have Bibles. That's what's funny is like, how did these people know to paint this? Look, there was Adam and Eve. You see the two heads right here? It looks like two people from far away. Eve is like, bleh, but their faces are marked off. Why? Because the bodies weren't bodies. I see a nipple right here. See Adam's nipple? And then the female is blocked. Like, that's respectful to me. That's what I'm looking at. So when I hear Black Lives Matter, I think of like this. Because the origin of our roots are very much more deeper than racism. That's why I get upset. Because it's like, y'all, come on. Talk about the truth. The real truth, And then who's this man? Rich and white with a hat on. He's not white, though, because he's the same color as everything on that wall. That's how they were interpreting. And there goes the sun right here. This is probably the coolest video I could have ever posted on Facebook. And look, there goes a face. It looks like a mean face. You guys see it, right? Two eyes. Oh, wait, let me make this smaller. It looks like Freddy Krueger. Look. And you guys see how, Armando, I want to share this with you. This was what I interpret by roots and Black lives, because there's culture and things that people don't do their, like every day I spend time researching like stuff like this. What does this mean? Who are the Chumash Indians have ties to people of the coast of California. And so when I look at lighter skin, see, this is the problem. If I were to be the media, I would say lighter skin African Americans. That don't make no sense. You got an adjective and a pronoun. That don't make no sense. You can't put an adjective and a pronoun in a title, because a pronoun's a pronoun. So if we would be grammatical, You cannot say lighter skin African Americans. Oh God, get out of here. I also want to show you guys the Dogon. Keep that cave in your head. Dogon people, let's go there. Because this is really what Black lives, in general senses of the world, where our origins come from. And I'll break it down to you guys too. Why are Black people very important? Because the Dogon tribe was they lived outdoors all the time. They didn't live inside caves. That's why their skin is very dark, because they're highly melanated. They can sustain the sun's light and the sun's heat. So long story short, if you can maintain the sun heat and the light, you were called the Lamb of God. It was like, because like, you know how lambs are on the field. Come on now. Deep dive Sunday. So I did a dance the other day, and I actually did this face painting. I made my face clay white. And this is why, like, when you see people do blackface, yay, Michael, your delivery happened. I had a package notice. When people do blackface, it's because, can I make this larger? Oh, damn it. Excuse my language, y'all. I've been cursing all quarantine long. See, oh wait, where am I? I want to get rid of this. How do I make, you guys, I have not been on a computer in a long time. How do I make this left side go away? I just want the right side. Like I want to slideshow this and I can't. Can I? Anyways, I want this, whatever. Dogon people. So there's a planet out there, or a star system, I'm sorry. A star system called Sirius. There goes the S. Where we at? Right there, S. For Sirius, in my opinion. The serpent. Let's say the constellation of Ophiuchus, which I can go into a little bit later. Constellation of Ophiuchus is the 13th constellation that this star system comes out of. It's this star, Sirius, has its own binary interaction with Venus and the moon. And so when you have these moon phases, you kind of see that people during these moon phases now are being very, like, repulsive. Everyone's repulsed. Everyone's entitled to be repulsed. It's not a bad thing. But when folks are arguing with other people, it's like, well, how come your repulse is like, okay, but mine's are not? Easily, I can mistake this photo by saying, oh my gosh, it is the, what is that called? If you were to reverse the shape of one side, what is that called? Hitler, was it the cross, whatever that is. You guys see what I'm talking about. So let's say like you took something from a tribe. You were rich, right? Kind of like how I had that example of branding a word. Let's say like you created a word and then you patented it. And then years later, you go online, you find out who's using that same spelling, and you work from home by suing them. That's how a lot of people get money. So let's interpret this. Say like Hitler, who didn't like people of color, which he didn't, asshole, took this symbol and flipped two sides the other way. He's trying to tell you as above, so below, number one. Number two, he's saying I chose below as many people are so above. And then it's a flip. That's what's happening right now in our society. There's a flip. So when you make a jab at a culture by flipping the outer end of this, you're making a statement. Kind of like when people did blackface. They did blackface because this group, where's that picture at? Let me go back. This tribe of people had white faces because they believed in the stars. They believed that Sirius the planet, or sorry, Sirius the star system, swastika. Thank you, Julie. I love you. Julie, did you hear about the Bay Club and me? I'll be back. I'll probably be back next year. But they Mosesed me. They let this people go. Look at Madonna. She didn't copy them. People don't notice this stuff. This is why I get mad. And I can't, now I can prove it. I'm showing you guys facts without just posting words. Madonna copied Little Bra. Lady Gaga copied that too. I'm mad. But they're showing you guys what their experience was and how these people were tall beings. They were a white brotherhood. And they're dark skinned, these folks here. So how do you interpret that these tall white beings, these people with big heads, this is what I call my family, big head family. My family don't know why I call them big heads, because this is where my lineage on my father's side comes from. So they had a witness. They didn't have Bibles and all that. They witnessed something, and they had fun. They had a little party, and then they dressed up and tried to share. I mean, if you're Dogon, you don't know English, so you can't speak the language of the world other than expression and dance and all that. And that was how you gave attention. So if a dance teacher is trying to tell y'all something, literally, why not listen? Shoot, get out of here with that. The pipe, when people use tobacco, this came from the Dogon tribe. Coffee mugs came from the Dogon tribe. They were the Dogon. Where did they live? They lived in Mali, because I think someone had telepathically asked, where do they live? It's Africa, but it's places I cannot pronounce. Oh, Niger. Niger what? So I'm happy to tell you guys that I've been mentoring 4 guys. The positive thing about social media is they're looking at my dialogue and they're aligning me with people to mentor. So there's a guy from Guinea. I don't know if I said that right. Ghana, I'm sorry. Here, Ghana. I just got a notice from somebody who lives in Mopti. Is that how you say it, Mopti? You know I'm going to pick their brain. I'm like, look, y'all, tell me everything you know about your land. So when I think Black Lives Matter, this is what matters. Origins. Did we come from Africa? So this complexion of people that I was pointing at, this is a whole culture on its own. Kind of like if you're just tuning in, I talked about hip hop and how everybody teaches hip hop differently, but everyone has the same roots. So in essence, you have a lot of darker skinned people from all over the world. But this was the beginning of it, because their practice of the Odu or the Oshun, that was their practice. The Oshun came from the Anunnaki. Oh, hell to the no. Western culture 101. And you see how they're fishy people? So I hope you guys know that there are people who call themselves the basses. They're the people of Rome. I'm not saying anything negative. What's also interesting about how, if I were to decode, and I'm going to diploma school for this too, it's trying to depict the codes and trying to help figure out. And so I have a group of friends, and this is what we do in my group. It's called Beacons of Light. And this is what we do. We look at different things and we crack the code as a group. Y'all don't know what I be doing behind the scenes. So basically, I would say this is the Pentecost. in the time of Pentecost, where you have somebody controlling the same people who are against each other, pinning the same culture against each other. So you have a controller, a handler, and the two puppets. And a lot of people, celebrities, follow this ritual. It's not saying, oh, you're Illuminati, you're going to kill people. It's not saying that. It's saying that if you want to flourish and be fruitful, look, you have to be an architect of civilization. That it is what it is. And I think, I don't know what that is. That's not a door in the middle, the gate. But you might get hurt if you go into the gate. But Pentecost, I see the bird and I see not a cross, but I see a halo. Ooh, I want to show you guys something else too that I'd actually do these codes on my own. I'll look at the image, I'll meditate, and then I'm like, ooh, I think. Ooh, my ears are ringing. Okay, so the Egyptian Ankh is what I'm going to look up too. Do you guys know the other day I was looking at this symbol? I was like, wait, hold up. I was like, the Egyptian Ankh. I was staring at it and I was staring at it and I was staring at it and I was staring at it. And for some odd reason, I'm like, wait, the symbols came to them after the Dogon tribe. Because the Dogon tribe was 13,000 years ago. Egypt was, let's say, about 6,000 years ago. And then the Garden of Eden happened 3,000 years ago. So when you talk about Black Lives Matter, you better do some research to find out what origin we come from, because it will make sense why some people want to take us out. If we access our DNA and our information about ourselves, we can really take back what's really ours on a grand scale. And that's why I get upset, because I'm like, I'm one person who realized this and I have no platform to speak it. But Facebook, thank you for live stream. Because this is what has provoked me now. It's like I have to start showing everything that I do behind closed doors, because people are coming at me and disrespecting me. And I lost so many friends this year. I have friends from high school that, used to play Trump. I'm like, look, I am not talking about Trump. I'm talking about this Ankh and how there is a cross, baby. Hey, Dad. My dad's in his house. Oh, Dad, I was just talking about our Dad, don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. My dad is in the house, and he needs to know this. I'm talking about our background. Have you heard of Dogon people, Dad? So the Dogon, this is a tribe from 13,000 years ago. The Dogon are an ethnic group living in Central Plateau region of Mali in West Africa, south of the Niger Band. That's where the Emerald Tablets were buried. If you guys know the Emerald Tablets, I'll go to that in a second too. Remind me of the Ankh though. So when we say Black Lives, I'm like, look, y'all, let's be honest. Our origins, if we find out where our culture, where our skin complexions come from, you will really, and I think that there are people who oh, you didn't know about that. There are people who know this. I think there's just a lot of jealous people who are not this culture from other parts of the world, who try to engineer ways that we sabotage ourselves so we don't really look at the truth. And this is my truth. I'm thinking about this stuff. Okay, the Dogon people, they had this apparition from a nearby star system, Dad, and they started dressing up because whatever had happened, they were drinking the happy juice. No, if I were to look at this, they would say the people came from the stars, They were 9 feet tall, and they had veils on their body. They had garments that were. And so if I were thinking that this is the tribe, how could I interpret? I can't just buy a chiffon gown. So they have to utilize their own resources to make these costumes. Kind of like Noonday Collections. Crystal, shout out, Noonday Collections. Noonday Collections helps a lot of people from around the world. Kind of like this. They take organic items, items that have been fallen from being rooted, and they convert it into fabric, jewelry, and handwear. Noonday Collections. So the Niger River. This is fun. I should have done this a long time ago. It wasn't time before. It wasn't time at all. All right, so let's do the emerald tablets. So the emerald tablets. Oh, now we're deep diving. So here's the emerald tablet. So in the Bible, here comes this guy named Moses with 2 tablets. It was kind of like a way to get people to run with one theology of the law. So you have one bucket of people over there with the law. Bye, y'all. Then you have roots of a real tablet, which can only be transcribed by Ethiopians and Armenians, because this is the same symbols in both cultures. So how come and why you got two different colored people who actually speak and write the same way? So if you want to come at me and say Black Lives Matter, you better figure out why the emerald tablets are the same symbology, the same characters that you write in Armenian and Ethiopian. Mic drop. Telling me I'm not educated. There goes Toth. And so if I were predating the walk of Jesus, the man, right? And I were to foresee something, you see how there's a bird or the head of a dove, and you see that there's a head and a body. Some people say, oh, Horus or whatever. So this is what they interpret as the body of Christ, because you have the head of a dove or a bird, an angelic being, and then you have the body of man. So if you've been to church, you hear them say, we are the body to the head of Christ. And then look, there's this halo. But the weird thing about these halos and such, black screen. I didn't do it on purpose. I'm so mad at that, y'all. Black screen. You guys ever seen blackface? That's what you're doing to us. It's funny because people think like, okay, who made up black screen? Who thought of that? We have to research this stuff. Don't just run with it. Anyway, so either it's a halo or it's a sun. But, when you look at this, I'm going to school for this. I'm getting my diploma for Egyptian symbolism. You look at this and you think, who has a halo? Wait, light of the sun. Light of the sun. Oh, okay. Jesus is the light of the sun. So if you were to put all this together, you would say, oh, roots, Boom. I'm waking y'all up because I was like, I have to do this. I have to just help everybody in terms, not saying it's my job, but it just hurts me to look at people who don't look at this stuff here and go, wait a minute, this is what matters, is where we come from, our origins, and how predating the Bible were we so significant, and why it would prelude people wanting to murder us. Hello, I know that exists, but it's not like in terms of I'm gonna find everybody and take them out. It's more so of using us as what do they call that when you use people for time and labor? I forgot the name. Shoot. Anyway, I lose my thoughts so quickly. But I think I just dumped a whole lot on everybody. I'm going to do this every like Sunday. This is cool. I like going into some deep diving, some real truth for once. So what I'm going to do is the live stream that I started, I'll break it up into 2 different videos. And then this will be, I'll put this on my timeline after I close out the live stream. But all in all, I just really would like people to understand that my approach to the situations right now, I call these my Jesus hiccups. So I don't know where they come from, but they speak to me. It's very important to me that everybody starts going into the root of our origins, where we come from. Like you guys saw how the Dogon tribe are very, very, very this color. And you look at how I'm part of that. That is my blood, you know. And I don't look like them. But it doesn't mean that I'm not classified to share the information about the tribe and what their experience was. So I'm sharing what their experience was, just like I do on a lot of levels. And people want to come at me with their point of saying, you're wrong because. I'm like, I'm not wrong. How are you wrong and how am I wrong? The wrong thing is trying to tear a brother down for viewing his point, speaking his compassion. The wrong thing to do is a survivor of COVID, you want to say, I don't believe you. You're just using it as a catalyst for attention. What? I had a friend from high school tell me that. Rude. I blocked her. I won't say I blocked her ass. But she was like, I need to see some proof. I'm like, I'm not showing you my medical file just to validate that I went through a horrible experience. I went through a horrible experience, but I'm not boasting about how I suffered, and I'm not like bragging about having it. But what I did do was I'm talking to 3 people right now who are going through it, and I'm telling them what I did. I peeled some oranges and I boiled them, and I gulped that mug for 6 days in a row instead of water and cold water, which people don't. I can say, please don't drink cold water. People won't listen to me. Cold water, if it's alkalized cold water, it's good because you're freezing everything. It's almost like natural chemotherapy when you drink alkalized cold water. Shut up, Car. And then people can, oh, that's offensive because you just people in chemotherapy. See, shut up. I ain't ask y'all about. Did you guys have family members on treatment? So I have experience on a lot of things that I share. So if anyone says that I'm wrong after today, I'm just like, look, delete, block. Or if I love you, I'm going to snooze you for 30 days. I love that snooze button. If you guys feel symptoms of this COVID, and you guys know it's going to escalate where you're going to see people falling out left and right. That's the scary thing. Because people don't believe that it's a real thing. And I clearly have showed you guys it is very real. I'm an athlete, a dancer, who hit a fever of 105. And then it got almost up to 110 because I was having a panic attack. I was freaking out. So imagine having heart palpitation and heart murmurs, and you're looking at the nurses waiting for you to have a heart attack and die. And you're just there like, y'all ain't gonna do nothing? Y'all ain't gonna, can you give me an IV? And they're like, no, we can't give you an IV because your fever's too high. Great. So what do I do? Just wait here until I, knock on heaven's door and they say, we don't want you. Go back. That's what happened. So in essence, my comment that I stated yesterday about think about the people, consider the people who are on ventilators. And it's just kind of unfair to do all this, I can't breathe, about one black man when you had 40,000 people who died in the last year over something they can't explain, which closed up their throat and damaged their nasal. It's sort of like the most offensive thing you can do to a COVID survivor is to chant, I can't breathe. Why is that? I'm entitled to that because I did have breathing problems, but I didn't let it defeat me. I kind of put my breathing issues over there because I've done dance and cardio where I know if I'm out of breath, I can handle it. I've taught my body how to handle it. But there's people who never been through that experience and they panic. And that panic and anxiety on top of your breathing issues is why you increase the blood pressure. And that blood pressure with the fast heart rate is what kills people. It's not a cold, it's not a flu, and it's definitely not a virus, in my opinion. Even if it is a virus, it's a silent virus. Love you too, Dad. I'll let you guys go, but be considerate of each other. Be considerate of myself too, because people are going on my you going on my Facebook page and you saying stuff as a. I know people are releasing it because they're frustrated, they're scared, they're confused. I understand that, but how about say I'm frustrated, I'm scared, and I'm confused because I don't understand the situation. Share with me more of what you know about your statement. That's how you have healthy dialogue. I do that to other people, but then there's some folks who come at me with an allegation and I clap back. That's what we call clap back. You will not come to my page, talking smack when I haven't talked to your butt in like 10 years. If I haven't talked to you and you coming at me with some allegation and you're not my skin complexion in this situation, we have a problem. Kind of like that one on my common law. Who gonna call me the KOON word because I don't side with demonstrating in the protest. So you just made a wrong into a wrong for feeling right. That was a perfect example of, and it's on my live stream when he called me it. So I have proof. Anyways, be encouraged. Be encouraged, everybody. Be encouraged. I'm going to do a dance later today of just some body, I call it body work, body meditation. Oh, V8, you back? I'm about to go. Bye.